Yo, this is live right across the street from my house. Freaking power line just went down. Try my little water hose, but yeah, it's going. I don't know. Hopefully they get him out.
Well, you just saw for yourself, there was a power line that was down that was still on, causing a fire, and you got to hear this. All right, this is from the book that was released 4 days after the fire. All right, a lot of people are saying that AI wrote this. I do not believe AI wrote this. I believe they had this planned out. There's a lot of problems with this book. There's a lot of things that don't line up, and I want to show you. It says right here, the fire incident additionally posed a substantial risk to numerous critical infrastructures and establishments situated in the upcountry region. These include power lines, water tanks, communication towers, and observatories. Notably, the Maui Electrical Company, MECO, has reported that the fire inflicted damage upon some power lines. No, it's the other way around. Your power lines inflicted some fire and did some damage. And it supposedly led to power outages in specific areas. Listen to this. As a precautionary measure, which means before something happens, as a precautionary measure to prevent further harm or ignition, the company proactively suspended the power supply to certain customers. Similarly, the Department of Water has stated that the fire endangers several water tanks, which may have severe consequences on the water supply and quality of local inhabitants. Consequently, the DWS has earnestly requested customer cooperation in conserving water and refraining from unnecessary use. So here you have it in this book. They're literally saying that they shut off the power to stop further fires, which is an outright lie. Everybody knows, and everybody that was there and everybody that's talking about it says that those power supplies were still on. The transformers were exploding. People talked about hearing explosions off in the distance. You know, it's an outright lie. They used the electrical lines to help push this fire and make it even worse. Whether this fire was started by direct energy weapons or not, it doesn't matter. This is definite evidence right in front of our faces. All right. We also see that the DWS, the Department of Water Supply, decided to shut off the water and hoard the water, and they absolutely didn't want anybody fighting this fire.
The commission is responsible per our authorizing statute to protect and manage all water resources in the state. One Water is like looking at it from a holistic system perspective, and that's not any different than how Hawaiians traditionally managed water. You know, in essence, Native Hawaiians treated water as one of the earthly manifestations of a god and a kua. And so I think where it shifted to today, or over time, is that we've become used to looking at water as like something which we use, and not necessarily something that we revere as that thing that gives us life, right? I mean, to me, it's a shift in value set. And, you know, if we can start to really look at how we as humans in an island can reconnect to that traditional value set. So really my motto is always like, let water connect us and not divide us. Like we can share it, but it requires true conversations about equity.
The Maui Fire Department, in close collaboration with various agencies and organizations, exerted ceaseless efforts to subdue and govern the fire's rampant progression. To combat the blaze on land, the department had committed a force of over 200 exceptionally dedicated firefighters and strategically positioned 50 apparatuses. Conscious of the magnitude of the situation, the department also availed itself of additional resources from neighboring counties and states, as well as sought support from eminent federal entities including FEMA and the USFS. To combat the fire from the airspace, the DLNR deployed a squadron of more than 10 helicopters and 2 powerful air tankers, recognizing the demanding nature of the situation. All right, I mean, listen, if they shut off the water, okay, how are they going to send in a whole bunch of firefighters? How are they going to send in all this stuff to try to fight this thing if the water was shut off? All right, I did not see any helicopters in the air dumping water. I didn't see any air tankers in the air dumping water. Okay, these are complete and utter outright lies. The DLNR simultaneously enlisted prominent assistance from reputable agencies such as the USCG and the NOAA, seeking further aerial support. Comprehending the gravity of the situation, the Hawaii National Guard dispatched over 100 soldiers and airmen to bolster firefighting operations while ensuring security and providing humanitarian assistance with unwavering resolve. That right there is an outright lie. The reason being is because half of the stuff they won't even let the people of Maui have because it's not FEMA approved or anything like that. It's not government approved supplies.
My name is Chris Benka, born and raised on Molokai. The night of the fire, I was watching the news and saw a lot of footage. And it wasn't until the internet footage started coming in at about 1 o'clock in the morning that I saw people basically jumping in the water, running away from the fires. I thought to myself that I've got a lot of good friends and family that live there, and some of them live on the boats. I couldn't sleep the whole night. The next morning I woke up, I told my wife, I gotta go. I packed up and I head out. I got some supplies, whatever I could grab, water, food. I headed over there to help with whatever was going to go on. And when I showed up, it was horrific. It was terrifying. It put me back. I sat down, I cried for a while. When I pulled up, the town was still on fire. The response from the state, DLNR, was non-present in the water. My first priority was to get there and help with whatever I could help with. My second priority, I put out on the internet that if there were any families in need of getting off Maui and coming back to Molokai, I set a date and time and place, and you meet me there, I'll get you home. The people that I did bring home said that they had a hard time with the internet, so my message wasn't received by all. The second day, I told my wife, put out the word, I'm coming back again. And this time I was gonna go outside of the zone to Oluwalu's where they had set up the roadblock and bring people back from there. And when I got there that day, I brought home a few people and I took back a few tourists to their hotels. They were trapped, they couldn't get back in. They wanted to go home because a lot of the hotels in Wailea were gouging. They were paying like $700 a night. This guy was so cool that he took in 2 families with him. He put 9 people in the room with him. I had no problem taking him back to his hotel, getting him going. I also took in supplies for people. What I couldn't understand is that why did we have to bring supplies with the boats? Why did we have to transport supplies from Ma'alaya to Kahana by boat when everything was on trucks waiting at the roadblock to get in? When we delivered the next day, that night, I get a call from my friend Kamaili Alkan. He tells me he's got 9 pallets of food to go to the Kahana. So we took over 9 pallets of food, water, supplies. Where was the county? Where was the state? Where was the Red Cross? There was no aid for the people there. First day, second day, third day, nobody shows up. I'm still running supplies in. By the 4th day, they open up the road. I come home, I say, great. And at the same time, they shut the road down again, stopping supplies from coming in. I heard a story about a person that they loaded up the containers, and containers of food and supplies did reach Lahaina by the 2nd day, I think it was. But somehow, the Red Cross put a stop on it. So the containers were just sitting there at a hotel in Ka'anapali. The guy who found out put it out on the internet and told the people there, hey, you suffering, go get it. Don't wait, go get it. So I guess that's how some of the looting started, but it's understandable. Molokai, we're all about action. More action, less words. Politicians, more about words than action. Sometimes too much education, you lose common sense along the way. And it's true. Common sense tell you at the roadblock, cars showing up, trucks showing up, loaded down with supplies. Common sense tell you, let them through. Give them an escort, let them through. But nope, you stopped everything, bruh. So for 4 days, bruh, no food, no water, no supplies, no help. All they wanted you to do was leave. But as you know, in disaster areas, when they come in and they want you to leave, you go to a shelter. FEMA, Red Cross comes in, helps you, gives you money, and you move on. People never return back. So a lot of the Hawaiians don't want to leave, bro. They don't want to leave. They know what's going to happen. Big money, real estate, going to come in, offer them money. They'll never come back. Some days I did up to 2 boat trips, but most of them I just stayed there and helped along the way, shuttling food and supplies from Ma'alaya, where they had the roadblock into Kahana, into the danger zone. Yes, it was all out of my own pocket. I'm not even worried about being paid back or anything. I'll go as long as I could. And then my wife I put it out there that, you know, I can do more if people help me with gas. And a lot of people started donating money for gas. And some people from the mainland, I never even know, just donated. So that was awesome. It was local people with family and friends in Lahaina that banded together. Kamaili Alkan, the Manae boys. Big shout out to the Manae boys, bro. We seen Friendly Market donate. Everybody just pulled together because a lot of friends and family all in Lahaina. All I want to say about donations, that if you guys want to donate, don't donate to the Red Cross. Don't donate to organizations out there that think they're going to help. Donate to the local people there. There are people there that are starting their own shelters and taking care of the people there. If you want to see your money go to the people of Lahaina, the Hawaiians, the locals, and not to some politician's pocket, donate to the grassroots foundations of Lahaina.
All right, so they're literally keeping stuff from the people, but yet they're providing humanitarian assistance with unwavering resolve. That's ridiculous. Let's keep on reading. The Maui County Civil Defense Agency, in close cooperation with numerous agencies and organizations, tenaciously endeavored to shield and offer secure to the public. Recognizing the imminent perils, the agency issued additional evacuation orders for residents residing in high-risk areas, as well as for visitors and staff occupying Haleakala National Park. All right, this is an outright lie. They boxed those people in. There were no warning sirens. This is a proven fact. There's video after video. Not one warning siren, not one. By 2 p.m., the fire had engulfed an extensive area exceeding 5,000 acres and was progressively spreading westward towards Maui's Central Valley, which prominently accommodates the majority of the island's population and economic activities. In its path, the fire traversed Highway 37, the primary conduit linking the upcountry region to Kahului, the island's most populous town and prominent port. And this is really important to read right here. This is where it's highlighted. Regrettably, due to this development, the highway was mandated to close in both directions, resulting in traffic congestion and impending evacuation endeavors. All right, so they're literally telling you that they did block it off. They did block it off, but it wasn't because of some fire. There was no fire, all right, where they were saying it was. All right, they just flat out blocked this off.
And then all of a sudden they said, everybody's get off this highway, go down this way, down into town. Then they started blocking everything off there. And
so you got corralled onto Front Street. You started on Honopilani Highway.
Yes.
And you ended up on Front Street.
Yes. Couldn't go anywhere. They just said, go north, go north, go north. And then when we got on Front Street, embers were coming over the buildings and landing on our vehicles. And we're all in a line trying to get to the end of Front Street to go north, like they told us to, not knowing that the police blocked off the end of Front Street so nobody could move. All of a sudden, nobody could move anywhere. So all I did was try to inch my way over to another yard and drive up through a sidewalk, come back around, and then I went, the cops were moving around one exit, so I ended up getting up on the highway, even though they tried to direct me another way, and then I hightailed it to home.
So you basically had to climb up on sidewalks and go against what the cops were telling you could do. You had to break traffic laws, essentially.
Basically.
Good luck. Look at this. Holy sh**. This is a nightmare. I don't know where he's going. Probably to block our street. They're gonna barbecue all these people down in Lahaina. We're all trapped down in here. They're blocking off all exits, and everyone is just stuck, going in a circle in a fire pit.
So I went around back to Front Street, and all the cars were lined up, but none of them were moving. And I walked all the way from Safeway to the Chart House. Not one car had moved. And I was wondering what was stopping the traffic. And I got to the end and I looked up, there were no obstructions, there was no reason to keep those cars. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm under orders to keep them here. And I said, the fire is right around Safeway. It's going to hit Front Street. You know, these people got to get out of here. And he said, I'm following orders.
No way.
And so I just kept walking. Well, maybe he knows something I don't, you know. So, and I keep walking down the highway, and I look behind, no cars are coming out. Still no cars coming out. And I started hearing boom, boom, boom.
One last thing I'd like to show you is the cover of this book. It's called Fire and Fury, the story of the 2023 Maui fire and its implications for climate change, by Dr. Miles Stones. Now, if you put that together, a milestone is a major event that changes things. That's really a pivotal point, okay? They are setting Maui up to be America's first 15-minute city. It's no coincidence that it's offshore, people. It's no coincidence that it's offshore, because whenever they want, they can shut the internet off, shut communications down, and everybody that is on that island is susceptible to whatever the government wants to do to them. I also want to let you know that there are 2 different books that have this very same cover, okay? There's the one that they released 4 days after the Maui fires, okay? But then they later on released another book that's a completely different book on the inside. So if you are going to try to find this book to purchase it, which I purchased mine right away because I knew that it was going to entail some of their plan and it's going to be chock full of propaganda and whatnot, so I grabbed a copy while I still could. Alright, but I'm finding out from other people that are telling me that other YouTubers have tried to purchase copies of it and gotten the other book on accident. Well, End Times Talk has the actual book, and we've shown you all throughout this video different paragraphs and whatnot in this book showing how they've been lying to us the whole entire time. I want to read one last paragraph out of this book before I get off of here. It says right here, some of the measures employed to impede and prepare for future wildfires, as well as to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to climate change, encompass the transition to renewable sources of energy, such as solar, wind, hydro, or geothermal power, which are devoid of greenhouse gas emissions or other pollutants. Adopting such renewable energy sources would also proffer more dependable and economical electricity for residential and commercial use, particularly in remote and rural areas. Now, you heard it here first, people. That is literally what they want these smart 15-minute cities to be, or what they're calling freedom cities, okay? There's nothing free about it, all right? But they have plans to turn Maui into America's first 15-minute city. Check these videos out.
Build smart cities unless they destroy the cities first, because they have to run out the small business owners who are not going to be on board or comply to their smart city nonsense. Their smart city is going to limit productivity, even though they pretend like it's going to increase it. And people don't want to be on board with it. They don't want to be forced into this stuff where they're monitor and track how much carbon you use at your work. This is all what their plan is, so they can shut you down and control you as they please, like in China. Right? So if we know that when we see a fire like that, then the second that we hear that the plans are to bring in a smart city, you'll know why it was done.
It does appear like a bomb and fire went off. All of those buildings virtually are going to have to be rebuilt. It will be a new lahaina in its own image, its own values.
I'm doing a voiceover. This is footage earlier at Napili Park. I didn't feel safe speaking freely about the situation while I was there, but the police are issuing permission slips for residents to freely come and go to their homes, to other parts of the island.
How long have you guys been in line to get these? 3 hours? Been in line 3 hours, but it's probably longer now, you know.
Okay, I just didn't want to talk over where I was actually speaking live there, but I'm going to walk along the line so you can see there are thousands of people here at this park. There were 2 separate locations where they told people to come get these permission slips, which would allow them to leave their houses, travel to other parts of the island that were unaffected, and return.